Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be tuning in from today. Maybe you're fixing yourself a little breakfast. Maybe you're sitting by the window with a cup of tea. Or maybe you're out for a walk earbuds and enjoying the rhythm of your own steps. Wherever you are, I want to say thank you for being here, for giving me a few minutes of your time. Because what we are going to talk about today, it matters. Now, I want to begin with a simple question. In the past week, have you used your hands to push yourself up from a chair? Have you caught yourself slowing down just a little more than usual when heading down the stairs? Or maybe you've hesitated before getting up, not because you were tired, but because your legs didn't feel quite steady. If you nodded to any of those, you are absolutely not alone. In fact, what you're feeling may be one of the most important early signs that your body is asking for something that millions of older adults across the country are missing, not because they are lazy or careless, but because this one thing is rarely talked about. We hear a lot about diet, about walking 10,000 steps, about taking our vitamins. But rarely do we hear this, that one of the most powerful longevity tools available, one that protects your independence, your balance, your dignity, is something almost every senior overlooks. And today, we are going to fix that. No, it is not a pill. It is not a new trend. It is not something you buy online at 2 a.m. after seeing a fancy ad. It is simpler than that, but it requires your attention. So here's my invitation to you. Stay with me until the end of this episode, because somewhere near the end, I will give you a small, simple test, one you can do right at home without equipment, that tells you more about your future mobility than any lab result can. And if you're already curious, do me a favor, leave a comment and tell me where you're listening from. Your kitchen, the porch. Maybe while folding laundry or making a meal. I really do want to know, because I record these episodes with you in mind. All right, let's get into it. Because this number one longevity tip that most seniors miss could change everything. Let's begin. Let me ask you something more direct now. When was the last time you thought about your legs, not in terms of pain or stiffness, but in terms of power? Most of the older adults I talk to focus on the usual suspects: blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, maybe some talk of bone density or heart health. And all of that matters, of course it does. But there is something just as critical, and in many cases even more urgent. Something that gets almost no attention at your average checkup. That something is leg strength. Now, I know it does not sound glamorous. It is not something you read about in the headlines. No one says, "Hey Bob, how are your quadriceps doing lately?" But here's the truth. Leg strength, especially the strength to rise to catch yourself, to move with confidence, is one of the strongest predictors of how well you will age. And I do not mean 10 years from now. I mean right now, this year, this season. Let me paint you a picture. You are sitting in your favorite armchair, the same one you have had for years. You lean forward to stand up, but you notice your arms doing more work than your legs. You push off the armrests, you grunt a little, and you tell yourself, "I'm just tired." But what is really happening is that your body is quietly losing one of its most important assets, lower body strength. Now here is why this matters. In a major study published in the Journal of Gerontology, researchers found that lower body strength was more predictive of future disability than cardiovascular health. Let me say that again. Stronger legs were a better indicator of independence in older adults than having perfect blood pressure or a low resting heart rate. That's not to say heart health is not important, it absolutely is. But if you cannot get up without assistance, if you hesitate on stairs, if you are afraid to walk across the parking lot when it is windy or icy, then you are one fall away from losing your freedom. That is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Because here is what we see time and again. Once a senior adult loses confidence in their legs, they begin to pull back. They walk less. They sit more. They avoid stairs. They stop gardening. And little by little, their world gets smaller. It is not just about movement. It is about freedom. And here is what so many people do not realize. You do not have to be weak to begin losing muscle. You can look fine. You can be walking every day. But if you are not challenging your legs, if you are not stimulating the muscles, they begin to shrink quietly, invisibly, year by year. It is called sarcopenia, and it begins as early as your 50s. By the time most people notice it, they have already lost 15 to 20% of their muscle mass, and the legs, especially the thighs, are usually the first to go. So what exactly is happening inside your body when leg strength starts to fade? Let us break it down plain and simple. After about the age of 50, your body begins to lose muscle mass at a rate of roughly 1% per year. That might not sound like much, but by the time you are 75, that adds up to as much as 20 to 30% of your total muscle gone. And again, it starts in the legs. Now, the medical term for this is sarcopenia, the gradual age-related loss of muscle mass and function. But here is the kicker. It is not just about shrinking muscles. You are also losing something even more important, the ability to generate force quickly. This is called power, and it is different from strength. Let me explain. Strength is how much you can lift. Power is how quickly you can use that strength when you need it. And that is what keeps you safe when you stumble, when the dog pulls on the leash, or when you misstep on a curb. That rapid response comes from what are called fast twitch muscle fibers, and they are the first to go when we stop challenging our bodies. So you may still have strength enough to walk around the house. But when your nervous system cannot quickly fire those fast fibers, you cannot react fast enough when life surprises you. That is when falls happen. That is when people break hips. That is when things start to spiral. Now here is something I want you to hear clearly. This process is not inevitable. It is not about your age. It is about your stimulus. You see, muscles are incredibly adaptive, even in your 70s, 80s, and yes, even 90s. They respond to something called mechanical tension. That is just a fancy way of saying resistance. When you challenge a muscle with weight, with body movement, with effort, your body gets a signal that says, hey, we still need this tissue. Let's keep it. Let's even build more. But if you stop challenging it, the signal fades, and your body, being efficient, starts to strip away what it sees as unused. Now, here is where nutrition plays a big role. Because even if you are exercising, your muscles still need materials to rebuild. One of the most powerful nutrients for this is called leucine, an amino acid found in high-protein foods, especially in eggs, dairy, and lean meats. Leucine acts like a switch. It flips on the process of muscle protein synthesis, or MPS, which is how your body repairs and builds new muscle. But as we age, our bodies become anabolically resistant. That means it takes a stronger signal, more protein, more leucine to trigger the same level of muscle building. So where a young person might get a boost from 15 grams of protein, a 70-year-old may need 25 to 30 grams with at least 2.5 grams of leucine per meal. This is one reason why I always emphasize a protein-rich breakfast. Not cereal, not toast. We are talking eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, even a protein shake if needed. Because after an overnight fast, your muscles are primed to absorb nutrients, and that first meal can set the tone for your entire day. Now, let me bring this full circle. When you combine resistance training with adequate leucine-rich protein, you create what I call the muscle preservation partnership. You are telling your body two things. Hey, I am using this muscle, and here is what you need to keep it. This combination is how we prevent and even reverse sarcopenia. And yes, it works even in your 80s. In fact, a 2023 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed adults over 75 who performed resistance training 3 times a week and consumed 25 grams of protein after each session. After just 12 weeks, they had significant gains in leg strength, walking speed, and balance. And no, these were not former athletes. They were ordinary people, just like you. Now I want to pause here and say something important. You do not need to go to a gym. You do not need to lift weights you are afraid of. The resistance we are talking about can be as simple as standing up from a chair without using your hands, using resistance bands while sitting, stepping up and down on a low stair, slow squats to a soft couch cushion. It is about progressive challenge, meaning you do just a bit more than you did last week. That is how the body adapts. And here is something exciting. Even before your muscles grow, your brain responds. Your nervous system gets better at recruiting muscle fibers. Your coordination improves. Your balance sharpens. And often that happens within the first few sessions. So if you have ever felt discouraged, like it is too late, please hear me when I say it is never too late. Your body is waiting for you to send the right signals. And once you do, it listens. In just a moment, I am going to tell you a story about someone who did exactly this and saw results in less than 1 month. But first, take a deep breath and ask yourself, have I been giving my legs the attention they deserve? Because they are not just muscles. They are the foundation for your independence, for your energy, for your ability to live the way you want with strength and confidence. Let us keep going, because the next story might just remind you what is still possible. Here is what is worse. You do not just lose muscle. You lose fast twitch fibers. Those are the fibers that fire when you trip, when you need to react quickly, when you need to catch yourself before you fall. They are the ones that save you. And they are also the first ones to disappear with age. Now I want to be very clear about something. Losing muscle is not inevitable. It is not a normal part of aging. It is a predictable outcome of inactivity. And it is completely reversible if you act. But to act, you need to first recognize what is happening. You need to know what signs to watch for. So let me ask, do you use your hands to push up from a low seat? Do you avoid stairs unless you really have to? Do you ever feel your legs wobble when you stand for too long? If any of that feels familiar, I want you to do something brave. Acknowledge it. Not with fear, but with awareness, because awareness is step 1. And the good news is the next steps are simple, doable, and they work. Stay with me, because in just a few minutes, we are going to talk about how to reverse this, starting with a breakfast you might already have in your kitchen. But first, we need to understand what your body is actually doing when it starts to lose strength and what science says you can do about it. Let us get into the why behind this problem, because once you know that, the solutions will make a whole lot more sense. Let me tell you about Harold. Harold came into my office last fall, 74 years old, former mail carrier, retired for over a decade. He walked in using a cane more for balance than for support, he said. But what caught my attention was not the cane. It was how he sat down. He eased into the chair slowly, using both hands, bracing himself like he was about to sit on glass. No sudden movements, no trust in his own legs. I asked him gently, "When did this start?" He chuckled. "Doc, I think it started 10 years ago. I just did not want to admit it." Now Harold was not out of shape. He did not smoke. He was not overweight. He walked his dog daily. But his legs, they were weak. Not because he was lazy, but because he had stopped challenging them. So we came up with a plan. Nothing extreme. Nothing he could not do at home. Just 2 things to start. 1, every morning after brushing his teeth, he would do the sit to stand drill. Set a timer for 60 seconds and see how many times he could stand up and sit down from his kitchen chair without using his arms. too. He would eat a real breakfast, not toast and jam, but 2 eggs, a slice of whole grain toast, and a scoop of Greek yogurt. Why that combo? Because it gave him over 25 grams of high-quality protein and more than 2.5 grams of leucine, just what his body needed to flip that muscle-building switch. Simple right now. Here is the part that still gives me chills. 3 weeks later, Harold came back. No cane. I asked, "Where is your walking stick?" He smiled. "In the trunk, just in case. But I haven't needed it all week." Now listen, he was not running marathons. He had not reversed 20 years of aging. But something had shifted. He stood up taller. He moved with more confidence. He believed in his legs again. And that belief, that was everything. He said, "Doc, I did not know how scared I had become until I started feeling strong again." That line stuck with me. Because fear has a funny way of creeping in. Not all at once, but slowly. Quietly. It tells you to sit instead of stand, to rest instead of reach, to shrink your world one decision at a time. But when you begin to trust your body again, even a little, that fear fades. And in its place comes freedom. That is the power of starting small, of choosing one action, one breakfast, 1 minute of effort, and repeating it with intention. Harold's story is not rare. In fact, it is more common than you think. And if you are listening to this and thinking, "That sounds like me," then I want to say this. It is not too late. You are not too far gone. You do not need to be an athlete. You just need to take the first step literally. Coming up next, I am going to show you exactly what Harold did and how you can start your own routine without equipment, without pain, and without excuses. Let's build strength from the ground up, starting with what you already have: your body, your will, and maybe a good chair. Now let us get practical. You have heard the science. You have heard Harold's story. Now the big question is, what do you do next? I want to walk you through 3 simple steps. They are not glamorous. They do not require fancy shoes or a gym membership. But if you stick with them just for 4 weeks, you will feel the difference in your legs, your balance, your confidence, and your life. Let's start with step number 1, the sit to stand drill. Here is what you do. Every morning right after brushing your teeth, go to a chair. Make sure it is sturdy, has no wheels, and is not too low. Sit down comfortably. Now, without using your arms, stand up. Then sit back down. That is 1 rep. Set a timer for 60 seconds. You can use your phone or even a kitchen timer. Do as many sit-to-stand reps as you can in 1 minute. If the first day all you can do is 3 reps, that is okay. Write it down. That is your starting point. Each week aim to add just 1 more rep. Not 10, not 5, just 1. Why this drill? Because it strengthens the exact muscles that keep you out of a nursing home. Your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves. It also trains your nervous system, your ability to move with coordination and balance. And you are doing it in a way that mimics real life standing up. From chairs, toilets, car seats. Let us call that your daily foundation. Now step number 2, eat for muscle. Especially in the morning. This is where most seniors get it wrong. I cannot tell you how many older adults I meet who eat toast and coffee for breakfast, maybe a banana on a good day. That is not a breakfast. That is a blood sugar roller coaster. Your muscles, especially as you age, need high-quality protein early in the day, not just at dinner. Why? Because after an overnight fast, your muscles are more sensitive to nutrients. It is the perfect time to stimulate growth and repair. So here is your new breakfast plan, and yes, it tastes good. 2 whole eggs rich in leucine and healthy fat, 1 slice of whole grain bread or Ezekiel toast, half a cup of Greek yogurt, get the plain kind. Full fat is fine, optional a handful of berries, or a few slices of avocado. That gives you about 25 to 30 grams of complete protein, plus fiber, healthy fat, and enough leucine to activate muscle protein synthesis. If you are not an egg person, no problem. You can swap in 1 scoop of whey protein mixed with water or milk, 1 slice of turkey breast, or a breakfast sausage, go low sodium, or even cottage cheese with a drizzle of honey and cinnamon. The key is not perfection. It is consistency every single morning. Now, step number 3, add resistance twice a week. I know this is the step that usually gets people nervous. So let me make it simple. Resistance does not mean lifting heavy weights. It means giving your muscles a reason to stay. And that can happen with bands with body weight or even household items. Here is a basic routine I give many of my patients. We call it the living room longevity set. You will do this twice a week, for example, Monday and Thursday. Exercise 1. Step-ups on a staircase. Stand at the bottom of your stairs. Step up with your right foot, then your left. Step down the same way. Do this for 10 repetitions. Hold on to the railing if needed. Exercise 2. Wall push-ups. Stand 2 feet from a wall. Place your palms flat and lean in. Slowly push back to standing. Do 10 repetitions. Exercise 3. Seated leg extensions. Sit in a chair. Lift 1 leg at a time, straightening your knee. Hold for 3 seconds, then lower. Do 10 on each side. Exercise 4. Standing calf raises. Stand behind the chair hold for support. Raise your heels, then lower slowly. 10 repetitions. This whole routine takes less than 15 minutes. And let me tell you, done twice a week for 4 weeks, you will feel the difference in how you stand walk. Even turn around in the kitchen. Now, if you want to progress after that, add light dumbbells or use resistance bands. They are cheap, safe, and you can use them sitting or standing. But even without equipment, your body is enough. Now, here is something most people miss. Recovery matters too. Your muscles do not grow while you train. They grow while you rest and recover. So if you are doing resistance training twice a week, make sure the day after is active but light. That might mean walking for 20 minutes, stretching gently, or just doing housework with intention. And of course, sleep is crucial. Aim for 7 to 8 hours a night in a dark, cool, quiet room. Why? Because growth hormone, the chemical that repairs muscle, is mostly released while you sleep. And here is one more pro tip. After each workout, within 30 to 60 minutes, have a small protein-rich snack. Even a glass of milk or a boiled egg will help. You are telling your body, we worked. Now let's rebuild. So let us recap. Every morning, sit to stand drill. Every breakfast, at least 25 grams of complete protein. Twice a week, 15-minute resistance routine. After training, a protein snack. Every night, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. This is not theory. This is not hype. This is the blueprint for muscle, for movement, for freedom. And you can do it starting today. If you are going to try just one of these steps, comment the word "try" wherever you are listening. That is how you make this yours. And coming up next, we will close this episode with one final thought about dignity, longevity, and why strength is not just about muscles. It is about living fully. Let us bring this all home. You see, strength, especially lower body strength, is not just about muscles. It is about dignity. It is about getting up from the couch without fear, climbing the stairs when no one is around, walking out to the mailbox in the morning with confidence, not caution. It is about feeling in control of your body instead of watching it slowly slip away. Too often we treat aging like something that happens to us, as if it is passive, as if we are just along for the ride. But I am here to remind you, it is not. You have a say, you have influence, and it starts with simple, repeatable actions, like standing up once more than yesterday, like choosing protein in the morning instead of sugar, like moving your body not to chase youth, but to honor your future. Here is what I know from experience and from hundreds of patients over the years. The ones who stay strong, they do not always have perfect genes or perfect discipline. What they have is consistency and a refusal to believe the lie that it is too late, because it is not. If you have breath, you have time. If you have legs, you have potential. If you have, well, you have power. Now, if this episode helped shift something in your mindset, if you are now looking at your own strength a little differently, I want to ask you for a small favor. Tap the subscribe button if you have not already. Not for me, for you. Because every week, here at Longevity Life, we break down real practical health strategies, not hype. Things you can do, things that work, things that honor the way you want to age. And if today's episode brought someone to mind, maybe a friend, maybe your partner, maybe your parents, send this to them. You never know what small message might help someone get their strength back. And while you are here, scroll down and leave a comment. Tell me what part of today's routine you are going to try first. The sit to stand drill, the breakfast change, the stair step-ups, even a one-word comment like starting lets me know you are not just listening, you are doing. And that, my friend, is the difference that will matter most 10 years from now. Before I go, I want to leave you with a thought. Longevity is not just about lifespan. It is about health span, the quality of your days, not just the number. And strength is the thread that runs through all of it. It supports your independence, your mobility, your joy, your identity. Without it, everything becomes harder. With it, everything becomes possible. So build it, protect it, respect it. Because strength at any age is one of the greatest gifts you can give your future self. Now, in next week's episode, we are going to explore how to recover strength and balance after illness or injury, especially for those who have been through surgery, bed rest, or even long periods of low activity. We will break it down step by step, and you will not want to miss it. Until then, keep moving, keep fueling your body, right? And remember, longevity without function is not worth much. Thank you for spending this time with me. This is Dr. John Smith, and I will see you next time on Longevity Life. Take care.